But first, making their late-night TV debut, performing Tanya from their upcoming album, The Best Years of Our Lives. Give it up for Brockhampton.
Mother, I am sorry, I never pick up, because I'm afraid to disappoint.
Welcome back to the Fliptheswitch Music Podcast. My name's Hunter.
My name's Gio.
And it is... No clue what today's date is. It's October, though. But we're on episode 6, and it is Monday, October 15th. That's what today's date is. And today, we are going to be talking about... It's just me and Gio, by the way. How you been doing?
Pretty good.
Anything crazy happening?
Probably gaining a couple of pounds over the break.
Oh, yeah, we've been on a break, if you couldn't tell. I don't know when the last episode was, but it's been a fat minute. But, yeah, today it's just me and Gio. Everybody's kind of in the studio, though, but me and Gio are going to be talking. And we're going to be talking about the Brockhampton Iridescence album. And you just want to get straight into it?
Yeah.
I actually saw them in concert, so I'll have, like, outtakes on stuff like that they performed live. It's actually their first time without ameer. This is their 4th studio album, the first one out of the Best Years of Our Lives trilogy, I guess. And
isn't this one another trilogy?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, the Best Years of Our Lives trilogy. And they started on Jimmy Fallon with a new album. They performed their comeback single after the whole ameer drama, and it was Tanya. It wasn't announced that Iridescence yet, but they performed that song, and it was pretty good. Good performance on Jimmy Fallon. Good way to come back after the whole ameer drama. If you don't know about that, Ameer Bam was a founding member of Brockhampton, but actually got kicked for abuse allegations, and it was obviously rough on them. But we'll get more into Tanya in a second. Just figured we'd start off with that. How you feeling this album? It's been a minute since it came out.
Yeah, we wanted to review this album for a while, but there were just things kept on getting in the way, but...
we're finally getting to it, though.
Pretty excited to review this album. I really enjoyed it.
What's the type of... Before we get into it, I'm going to ask, like, what's the type of vibe you were getting from it? Like, where could you listen to this the most, probably?
Probably in my room when I'm not really doing anything. I'm just bored, chilling.
Jesus says in the shower.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this is probably their most experimental album yet. It's real, like, oh yeah. Also, they signed to RCA, a $15 million record deal. So this is their debut, like, on a record label album. And what's kind of shocking about that is with how this sounds, you'd expect them to go a completely different route than this. But the ameer thing and stuff, I guess they just went with this route, which is pretty good. But the vibe I was kind of getting from it, like, places I could listen to this in my room. There's some songs you could definitely, like, work out and stuff, too, on here. There's good driving songs, shower, stuff like that, like Jesus said. Heck, I even listened to this album when I was cooking one day over the break. But, yeah. So, yeah, it's a pretty good album. It's got some really vibey tracks on it and stuff. So, you want to get into the track list?
Yeah.
The first song on the album is actually... Oh, yeah, first album with features. That just reminded me of this. New Orleans. What do you think of that track? It features Jaden Smith.
It was I didn't know that, but it was a really good opener for this album. I was like a kick. I didn't expect that, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, they normally start off the albums with really good beats, good, like, brings a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jesus just laughed, but... But New Orleans brings a lot of energy, and yeah, you didn't know Jaden was on this?
Nah. I do.
You got any guess where he's at?
No, I didn't even hear him.
You know how Kevin's doing the chorus?
Yeah.
Right before Matt's verse, Merlin's verse, when he comes back on and yells the Voodoo Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he is. It kicks in right after Kevin. It goes, tell boys don't run from, yeah, like that.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, that's Jaden. At that one part. Jaden's like really good friends with him. You know, this also just reminded me. I keep thinking of stuff in the middle of this track, but this whole album was recorded at Abbey Road Studios in London. You know where that is?
Nope.
It's where like the Beatles and groups like that recorded and stuff. So they were in London for a while recording this album. I guess
how did they
Jaden
do
came
that?
down there. Recorded in that studio?
Yeah.
I don't know. Guess they just booked it. You know where Romil slept? Romil, the producer, he had like a little blanket on the floor behind the mixing board. But yeah, it's pretty good for that. And yeah, that first track he made the beat. Who's this first track produced by? New Orleans. It's produced by
Bareface.
Bareface?
Mm-hmm. And
I didn't know he
Jabari
produces.
Manwa.
Jabari. Romil not on it? Yeah, it's produced by Romil. Romil's like the main producer. Joba mixes stuff though, so that's probably what it's talking about. And it's the intro track.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. Live, it was pretty good. They came out when they did this, but Energy Dom was bringing the track. Was really good, and but he brought good energy to the track when they did it live. It started off, and the like effects and stuff they were using were really cool.
Yeah, I wish I went to their concert.
Yeah, the concert was actually at the Coca-Cola Roxy in Atlanta, beside SunTrust Stadium Park. And speaking of that, speaking of a concert, I actually got to talk to one of the members, John Nunez, if you know who that is, and I actually told him a little bit about the podcast, and I asked a question for like the album to see if we could get anything out of it. And they're acting stupid in the studio, so if y'all could hear it, if you hear us laughing, that's what we're laughing at. But what I asked John about was, you know who John is, right?
Yeah.
One of like, what was crazy about the concert is there's videos of it and stuff. I'll post it on like my Instagram and stuff. Y'all can check that out, Hip Hop and Rap Crazes. But self-plug, yeah. But we, like me and my stepbrother Maddox, literally basically watched the concert with Jabari and John. They were standing right beside us where we were at. It was in like a little venue. I bought merch and stuff. I bought the hoodie, shirt, and like this album cover poster thing. But I'm going to get framed and hung up on my wall like album covers.
That's crazy.
But at the end of the show, I talked to John. Thank you, John, for talking to me. But I told him about the podcast, told him I can't say what I gave the album, but I told him what I gave it, and he said that's great. And then I asked him a question. After this being the whole ameer thing and everything that was going on, Billy has on a mask. That's all I'm going to say. But with everything that was going on with the whole ameer drama and stuff, I said, what's the type of vibe you were getting in the studio? I know it's like a really depressing album, and I was like, it means a lot to me too. Like, what's the type of vibe you were getting? And he said mostly, he was like, it was a tough time coming back from all that. It was like that energy and the vibe. They just did their thing and stuff like that. And if you don't believe me, but I talked to him.
So it's such a condensed time to make the album that they kind of really just like let it all out, you know? It's also the second album I've ever made.
Oh, and that just about said the score, but he answered to it. Big thanks to him for talking to me, but it's cool. I like that about their concerts and stuff. They make sure they meet fans. That's important to them, and they seem genuinely happy to be meeting fans and stuff, so that's really cool. And I'm glad you're talking
I think
about
that's
that.
pretty cool. And
So we got a little bit of an in-depth kind of back thing about what's going on with this album.
yeah,
So it's got that like kind of vibe to it. But New Orleans, overall, what'd you think of the track?
that was a pretty good track. I
Good
put it in.
opener, not skippable. You'll
Yeah.
love it. It's got
Yeah,
that
definitely.
big bounce to it. I mean, it has the perfect transition into funny title for it, Thug Life, which is actually mostly Bareface and Dom. I think that's who it features vocals from. Yeah, just Bareface and Dom. And all they do is talk on it. It comes in with Bareface starting like his intro singing, and he's singing and stuff on it, and Billy just knocks something over. But he all right, sit down, chill out, son. I'm just kidding. But it starts off with that chill vibe. Bareface got the singing, the little sha-na-na-na-na, whatever. And then it gets into Dom's verse where he talks about, like, how it's different in London, the vibe he's getting and stuff while he's there. Do you like the track? It's kind of like a little interlude if you think of it. It's not that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I would listen to a lot, like really frequently, but it was pretty good.
Not skippable to me. I'd listen to it. All right. And it was produced by Joba, which mixed it, Romil, and Jabari.
It's basically the same people.
Yeah. And then it gets into the next song, Berlin, which is produced by. And then we got into it gets into the next track, Berlin, which is produced by Romil and them, which is kind of. If I had to choose any song off this album that I didn't really like, it kind of has to go to this. There's so much bass on it. Like, there's almost too much bass.
Yeah.
They didn't perform this song live, but a lot of people like this one. But it has almost too much bass, and it kind of reminds me of older Saturation albums, the vibe I was getting from it. Do you like the track?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty
But I
solid.
have the same feeling or the same opinion as you do. It's kind of too much bass, but I'll listen to it like time by time. Not. Also, I have the same opinion also with this one and the one we just talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's another track. We're going to skip a few tracks in this just to, like, save time and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another track on here that brings a lot of energy I really liked. They basically kind of gave Marilyn a little solo song. It's like a little bit, like, slow. It's got the energy on it's great. Live, this was probably one of the best songs. Like, the lights turned off and then it came back on, and, like, Marilyn and Matt ran on the stage. It's called Where the Cash At. And the energy Marilyn's bringing on the chorus and stuff is really good. And then you just get that little verse from Matt where he comes in. He's like, tonight I bring him out. I was sleeping upside down. I like his verse. What do you think of the track?
Yeah, I really like the energy in this song. And then he showed me a video of the concert and how it was, and I wish I was there. I really feel like I missed out.
The effects were really good on this track.
Yeah.
Overall, really good track. Love the energy on it and stuff like that. You like the track?
Yeah.
So there we go. Now is here's where we're gonna get in a little bit more in depth with the album, because this is where you could tell the depressing stuff about it. The next track is Wait, which starts off with easily the most covered verse on the album, Kevin's. What do you think of the track before we even start it?
I really like this track. It was when I first listened to this album, I put this one as my first one that I liked out of this album. I don't know why, I just like really enjoyed it and I could like relate to it.
It's really good. Kevin comes in at first and is obviously talking about how he like kind of found out he was gay and stuff like that. But this is a song that came out to at the concert. I showed you that video too.
Yeah.
The concert starts off with Kevin like walking out on the stage and they put a spotlight on him. And then he did like his verse. And the cool thing about it is I was on the floor, and if you look up the lights and stuff, they make it look like a cloudy sky above you with the lights, which is really cool when he's doing his verse. I mean, you know that breakdown where, like, of course, classic Brockhampton style, after his verse, it goes into like a little chorus, and then like this loud like beat kicks in. But the loud beat kicks in, and then he starts like Joba comes in. I couldn't remember who it was for a second.
Yeah,
That's
that was
bad. Joba delivers one of his best verses about like there's kind of like a dollar sign attached to him now with all the fame and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're obviously having like a hard time dealing with stuff. But this song obviously talks about like a lot of like depressing subject matters. It goes in deep. It's a pretty deep song for sure. And then it goes into Dom's verse, which has some really solid lyrics. I might actually pull up the verse real quick so I could talk about it. And I like Kevin's bridge into Joba's verse too, though. This kind of sounds all over the place when we're talking about this song, but whatever. Kevin's bridge, he's like, after he talks about, I thought I had a problem, kept my head inside a pillow screaming, and it goes into that little breakdown. It goes, I don't want to waste no more time. I'm ready to go. I put my life on standby. I I can leave you alone. And then like the scratches, like where the beat finally kicks in. That's where they all ran out on stage during the concert. By the way, the rest of the members, like all of them, came out at the same time for that part. But Joba comes on and says, "'Cause we're born with a dollar sign attached to our temple. Life is a dish served cold most times, and all my life I've taken handfuls, force-fed by the hand that feeds us, but not all hands created equal. I stand by, waiting for something good to come. In due time, the skies will split for the sun to smile." That's a pretty solid verse. That's deep if you think about it. I like that. That's a really good verse from him. You know, not everything could be fair if you think about it like that. Like, life is a dish served cold most times, but Ameer thing, they probably thought their career was over with that. So that's probably really solid lyrics there. And then Dom comes in with easily one of his best verses ever, talking about, like, kind of how he's feeling, stuff like that. And he's like, he starts off his verse with some pretty good stuff. He's like, "My mother called me today. She said she felt my energy a country away." How they were in London and stuff like that, recording the album, which is really cool. And then he said, "I apologized for not calling enough due to wait," which is the name of the song. And then he's like, "I asked her, why is this world of echoing hate?" Which is probably a really good lyric if you think about it. And she said, "Don't let those who don't know you start dictating your fate," which is a good lyric if you think about it with a new fame and stuff. But he says, she said, "Don't let those who don't know you start dictating your fate," which is a really good lyric because that's saying, like, with the new people and stuff involved in, like, the record label, don't let them determine your path. It's pretty good. I like that. And then sorry. It says, "The road to peace is filled with snakes. You got to keep your cool and recognize the wolves that want to try and leave you wool," which is a really good lyric.
Yeah, like, I forgot what I was going to say. But I really enjoyed those lyrics. It was, like, really thought out.
And then another one, he's like, "Don't let them treat you like a window. Like, they could see through you. They just know, like, everything about them. You know you're a jewel." Like, he's saying, there's more to you than they could see. So that's pretty good. And then it goes into the whole breakdown at the end of Joba just saying, "Pressure makes me lash back. Wish I could get past that." And then that's the end of that track. Overall, good track.
Yeah, I think the same way. It was really
Good on the album. Liked it.
You got really deep, but it was just straight facts.
Straight facts,
So
for
hard
sure.
life gets.
District's a banger. Gets pretty deep. Verses from everybody. You really want to go in depth with that?
Not really.
All right, then let's get on to the next song.
Loophole.
Oh, Loophole, which is the... Hold up. Does it say who its interview is? It's Cameron or something like that?
Yeah.
All right. And he talks about basically with a new record deal and stuff like that. It's a little interlude. It's still really good, though. He talks about how he used to not be able to get all this stuff he wants. He says... Jesus, my throat hurts. All right. He says... Yeah, you know, that's what I was explaining to somebody. I said I didn't mind getting jerked because I was like, I just want my record on the radio. I just want to shoot videos and get it popping. I just want to get popping. Look, I don't care. Take my publishing. I don't even know what that is anyways. And they start laughing. And he's like, "You know what I'm saying?" And then at the end it says, "But isn't it crazy that it makes you question what kind of friends you had back then because they weren't telling you how the business was running and they were just like..." And then he gets cut off in the interview, and he says, "See, that goes to show maybe they wasn't really my friends. And it like flows perfectly into the next song, Tape, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's a really cool track to have on this album if you think about it, because of, like, with a new record label and stuff, the Ameer drama, all that. It's just a good vibe to have on it. You got any thoughts on it?
Same. I have the same thoughts as Wait. It was just also just straight facts because sometimes you think somebody's a friend and really they're not.
They're just using you.
Yeah, they
Which
just attach onto you.
we could get into, but that'd be so long.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, that's straight facts right there. And then they added that beat to the background of it, and then it flows perfectly into one of the best songs on the album, which samples Videotape by Radiohead from Kid A, which is a really popular experimental rock album. And it comes out with Kevin, who says, who's like questioning really like, is this even worth it? Am I really that good and stuff like that? Who's obviously, which is another rough thing to watch because like this album is so good, but it comes from them like actually dealing with depression and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're hurt. You can tell by this album.
Yeah.
And he starts with, I could barely rap, I could barely dance, I could barely laugh, I could barely hang. And he's like, I need a reason to get my bucks up. I need a reason to care about society, stuff like that. So he's just saying mostly true stuff. And then he says, but truthfully, the word. Oh, yeah, he says the stuff people have been saying about him, mostly his mom, about him, like, kind of being gay and stuff like that. He said, but truthfully, the words had damage, and it's cruel to me, but even more cruel to be dissing you in front of people that pay to hear me. He's talking about dissing his mom on, like, the song Junkie, how he's, like, talking about how his mom, like, didn't care for him anymore and now wants him and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really deep and sad, but yeah, solid verse. I like that verse a lot. Good way to start off the track after flowing perfectly from Loophole. And then Joba comes in with a solid verse. It just talks about, like, expectations in life, waiting for something, like, good to come. Kind of like how he went with Wait, too, on the little chorus thing. And then Matt comes in with his best verse on the album. Starts it off with, I'm afraid to share a bed. What if she want money later like she got laid off? Hit my lawyer for some paper. And then he says, I'm afraid to speak my pains like you lucky where you at. Like, referencing the people. But, like, what he's saying is he's another person, too, if you think about it, which is, like, really deep. He's like, I could feel these things, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not some superhuman immune to emotions and stuff like that, which is really cool if you think about it on his verse. But, yeah, solid verse for him. He goes in on it. I like his verse a lot. Best verse he has on the album. Then it goes into a little breakdown. Dom comes back on, does a really solid verse. All that good stuff from Dom.
Yeah.
And then we're going to skip a few more tracks. Hold up. We're going to skip a few more tracks to get in. Oh, Jalbert. We'll talk about that real quick. It was the first single they released with the Thermal music video. Really cool. I liked that. And then Joba had his verse, which is really deep, and ends with screaming. And then Merlin coming in with the excuse me and stuff like that. It was really good live. Like, Joba was, like, going in, and then Merlin came in and was just like, excuse me. And, like, everybody in the crowd started going crazy. I think I showed you that video, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did you like that track?
Yeah, it's
Jalbert?
pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
a solid track. I like the lyrics on it a lot. Really good. Joba's verse is great. Probably the best verse he's had out of the whole group's history. But it's probably the best group he's had in the best group. It's probably the best verse he's had in the group's history.
Yeah.
But solid verse from him. Matt starts off the song. Overall, good song. Really good song. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a pretty good song.
All right. Honey, the main good part about this song is the ending where it samples the bump and stuff like that. But that's a good sample if you think about it. I like how it comes on. It's like that spaced out bump beat. That was really cool during the show, too, because everybody was going crazy and, like, the lasers were dropping up and down and stuff, which was really cool to watch. But, yeah, good song. Not skippable at all. Really good. Next song, Vivid. Good song. Everybody has solid verses, all that. Not a skippable little song. You got any opinion on it?
Not really.
Next song, though, San Marcos.
Yeah.
One of the best songs on the album. Jesus thinks it's the best song on the album. What's your opinion on San Marcos? Let's get Jesus' opinion on San Marcos real quick. I'm passing the mic over to him.
Well, first of all, San Marcos is like a really deep song, and if you're going through like a really tough position and everything, and you just listen to it, it release some stress and things off your chest, and it's just a really good song overall, and everything falls in place perfectly.
Wise words from Jesus. But how long? It says it's inspired by the Goo Goo Dolls' Iris performance live. It has that vibe to it, the guitar sample and stuff they use. Sounds really good on the track. Obviously, the lyrics, everybody has really good verses. Bareface comes in with a solid hook, like sings really well on it. And then at the end, honestly, probably one of the best moments in my group's history, and it doesn't even come from them. It's the London City Choir, who's featured on it, sings the outro, "I want more out of life than this." Solid. Loved it. Really good. What do you think of it?
When I first heard it, I had the same opinion as Wait, and then slowly, the more I listened to it, I started liking it more than Wait. I don't know why. The hook was catchy too, as you said, and then, I don't know. I thought it was better than Wait.
The first time I heard this song and Bareface came in, I said, "Jesus is real." And I said that when McQuarrie came back in too, but yeah, that's a really good song. All right, here's Tanya, the next song on the album. It's obviously about Ameer. They all have solid verses, really good. They perform this on Jimmy Fallon with Ron Beatty, Jasmine Sullivan, and Serpent with Feet, and it has that nice piano intro. And Bareface comes in with like the really good song. I guess you could call it a singing verse for the most part. Starts off with "Mother, I'm sorry I never pick up because I'm afraid to disappoint." Stuff like that. He sings really well. Then the chorus, really depressing and deep. "I've been feeling like I don't matter like I used to." And then it goes into Kevin, who references I, Tanya, which is, in case you didn't know, do you know what that is?
No.
It's a movie about this famous figure skater, if you think about it, who was taken down because her boyfriend, which was a part of a group, hit this other person's knee, broke her opponent's knee in the figure skating thing, and took her down with her, and her career was over because of it. If you think about it, Ameer was in the group. He had the abuse allegations and stuff. They were thinking their whole career was going to come down with it. So it relates to that movie so much. That's what Kevin says. He says, "My ghost still haunts you. My life is I, Tanya." If you think about it, the ghost is probably Ameer. His life's I, Tanya, obviously.
That's really deep.
Yeah, gets really deep. And then Joba comes in with a little sung hook. He's playing the piano, and he says, "And maybe it means nothing, but I hate to say I think about you often." And obviously talking about Ameer. And then he says, "And if you want to war with me, I'll walk away. I know that I have wronged you." It obviously hurt him having to kick him because they were all friends and stuff. But that just goes to show it's a lot deeper than you think. He was sad about what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure they were really good friends, all of them.
And then I just thought of this with Bareface lyric on his second verse. I don't even need to look at the lyrics for this. I remember this. This song live was really good too. They performed it and it started off so good. San Marcos was really good live too, while I'm thinking about it. But Bareface says, and I think about, no, he says, "And your name is still circling our faults." He's obviously thinking about Ameer. "And I think about if we lose it all." What?
And I see the name circling our thoughts.
Yeah, the name, Ameer, circling our thoughts. "And I think about if we lose it all. But it's my money or my mind. My money or my mind was the first to fall. I never wanted this." Deep.
Yeah.
But, yeah, really deep verse from all of them. Dom has a solid verse. Then Merwin comes in with his best verse in the history of a group and has really good lyrics. He goes, "Private jets still crash." I like that.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, people hold these celebrities up to such high regards, and they're him as private jet lifestyle, but that could still crash in a second, which it did with Ameer. And their careers could have ended with it. And he says, "I still fly coach, and I still hit a roach, and I still see roaches at the cribs where my folks said, 'Touch your dreams before you touch me and provoke a man.'" Man, I'm pretty sure it plays a sample of Martin Luther King Jr. I'm pretty sure. And it says somebody's going to have to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell it. And it goes into that outro.
I really, really like that part.
Yeah, and then Matt comes in and screams. Matt screams at the top of his lungs, "I don't matter," and then goes, "Ah."
Yeah, I heard that.
I like it. It brings this track was probably their release for him.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's all I got to say about that track. Is best of the year to me. Best tracks of the year. It obviously really good return. Nobody knew how they were going to come back from Ameer, and they come back with one of the most personal, deep songs of the year, and it was really good. So, yeah, any final thoughts on that track? Pretty good comeback?
Yeah.
All right. Fabric. The last song live is really good because of a chorus on it, but you don't understand why I can't get up and shout. Is if you think about it, that's really deep too. Like some of the times people have these like emotions and stuff in them, and you don't get why they can't like get up and say that stuff, like because it could end them in a second. It could hurt people if they bring it down with them. Like Bareface says, he delivers a really solid rap verse if you think about it from a singer. He goes, why would you share this with these people? I don't know these people, at least no more. I'm at war with myself. Every time I hear this, I want to kill myself. That's really deep.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show maybe you shouldn't share everything some of the times. It's kind of like a form of therapy, these songs that they put out. And then it goes into the chorus, that long outro. It has that stomping, clapping effect that I really like.
Yeah.
It's just going, you don't understand why I can't get up and shout. I mean, it keeps going and going and going and going. And then at the end, it cuts. Like, the stomp ends with one last stomp, and you think that's the end of the album. And then it comes back on with this little, like, distorted beat. And you hear Merwin go, this is the best years of our lives, mother. You know the next word.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear them all start saying stuff like the best years of our lives. And then it ends, obviously, leading up to the next album. Really good album.
Really good outro, too.
All right, I guess we'll get into the next part. What's your favorite tracks off the album? I'll let you go first.
Before we go to that, actually, I was looking at the lyrics, and I actually like when he said, the world will try to tell you, it was Kevin, the world will try to tell you who
Yeah,
who you are before you get to explain yourself, your thoughts, your motives, and all of your reasons. And it's like, that's really true. It's like
they
judge
hold you up to like your own thing. You can't be your own person anymore.
Yeah.
Really like that. Glad you brought that up before we just completely skipped over that verse, because I was just thinking about banging chorus and
Yeah.
Bareface singing part, which was really good. And then Joba comes on, he's like, just don't mind me. I'm just wasting time, stuff like that. Like, does this even matter? Like, that's what he's saying. Does this even matter what we put? Really deep. What's your favorite tracks on the album?
All right, I got to think about this.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
My favorite tracks are definitely New Orleans, Thug Life, Where the Cash At, Wait, District, Loophole Tape, Javert, Honey, Vivid, San Marcos, Tanya, Fabric. So basically the whole album.
Oh, I thought we were doing top 3, but in that case.
Oh, top 3? Hold
Yeah.
up, I got you. Probably Tape, San Marcos, and Tanya. In no specific order. Tanya at first, though. Tanya is one of the best songs this year.
If I were to do top 3, it would be...
We're about done.
I really don't.
He's over here
I'm going to just
making
switch out.
jokes.
I'm going to go with the last 3.
The last 3? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really solid run. That's what I was feeling at first, but the more I listened to Tape, I was like, yeah, this is one of the best tracks on the album.
Man, I like
Wait,
Loophole.
too. I got to give a shout-out to Wait.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to give a shout-out to
Yeah.
that. It's really deep. Same thing with Javert, too.
But if we were not choosing top 3, it would be, like, practically all of the songs in this album.
You got any least favorites? I have 0 least favorites. Nothing was mediocre or filler to me on this. It was all extremely deep.
Yeah,
And really
same
good.
opinion.
All right. Well, you give it out of 10.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Why?
Because the more I listen to these songs, you see that most of this is really relatable. And then if it's not, if you think about it, it's true what they're saying. And I feel like there was a lot of thought put onto this.
to it a lot, too.
Yeah, and then also I like how their comeback is and how it's really successful. And yeah.
Yeah, it's their first album at number 1 on the Billboard 200. And I guess we're not even mainstream, which shows you something. Like, when you say something and you do it yourself, like, I'm sure y'all all know the background of Brockhampton, how they met and stuff like that. But when you do something yourself, it could amount up to something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you give it?
I guess I'm going to just start this off with, I've only given 2 albums a 10 out of 10 in my whole life of listening to music, which is Green Day's American Idiot. I gave it 10 out of 10, and I gave Tyler, the Creator's Flower Boy 10 out of 10. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Everything's on it's great. Helps with a lot, really. I just kind of felt it as like a therapy, like therapeutic listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, it means a lot to me. The album, it's really good. I mean, if we were to talk about everything I felt on this album, this podcast would be over 3 hours long. But we kind of just got to get past that. Like he says, pressure makes me lash back. Got to get past that. But yeah, really good album. Great that this is their return. I'm happy to see where they go from here.
Yeah, me too.
Do you think the next album in Best Years of Our Lives is going to be as good?
I don't know.
Where do you put this with the other albums?
I
Is
feel
this
like
their best one yet?
Yeah, I feel like this is.
I'll put this as their best one yet. The
I guess-
next is Saturation 2, which we could talk about at a different time. But great album. Helps with a lot. I'd really recommend it if you needed help with something and didn't really want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Hunter,
My name's Gio.
and this has been the Flip the Switch Music Podcast.
See ya. All right, get ready to record this. That was pretty good.